Now, before I offer my criticism of Zack Snyder through his film Man of Steel, I'm going to tell you what I liked about this movie and typically what I like about Zack Snyder's movie style. I think overall, Henry Cavill did a great job at portraying Superman. That kind of reminds me of the animated series and a little bit of how Christopher Reeve portrayed Superman. Zack Snyder's casting choices are good, and he actually does have a good eye for detail. I also thought that the special effects were pretty cool. The way that Superman was flying around and how cool his fortress looked with the suit reveal, I legit thought it was nice. But with that being said, here's what I didn't like about the movie. I feel it was a complete tonal shift away from the traditional Superman brand of optimism that we have seen from the animated shows and even from the Christopher Reeve films. This film felt very dark and gloomy, which clashes with Superman's hopeful nature. I thought Lois Lane's connection with Superman felt a little too forced. They should have let them have more time to develop a relationship. I didn't like Jonathan Kett's advice about Clark hiding his powers at the expense of letting people die. Ironically, his advice led him to die in a tornado for literally no reason, and he easily could have been saved. Martha Kent's advice for Clark telling him you don't owe these people anything felt cold and dismissive of humanity despite its intentions. The destruction of Metropolis was excessive, and Superman should have prioritized saving civilians rather than engaging in an all-out brawl. Some people would hear that and argue that the massive city destruction cliche isn't unique to Man of Steel. They would point out that the Avengers had a similar large-scale battle. However, the key difference is that the Avengers actively tried to save people, and the focus of the scene was repelling the alien invaders and not treating the destruction as shock value. Meanwhile, Man of Steel makes the devastation feel shockingly real, to the point where it felt like thousands of people actually died on screen.